everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with the Let's Get Hip Fridays, and this is the third layout I made with the September kit. I might do another one, but I might just jump into the October kit because yeah, we just paid for the November kit, so I'd like to stay on top of those. And as of October, I'm not going to have as many things, so I should be able to get through the kits. I'm not going to kill them anymore, but because I'm not ordering as much, I'm going to move stuff from day to day to day. Now, I thought I had the bright idea that I could scrap after a night shift. Yeah, this layout took me an hour and a half, and no, I didn't do it all after a night shift. I think I did about 45 minutes, and after 45 minutes, I was like, yeah, nothing is coming. I'm brain is dead. Go to sleep. But I do like sometimes to do something like that after night shift because it kind of, if it was a bad night, a busy night, it just de-stresses me before I go to bed. But sometimes the brain is just too dead. What I did quite a few times, and I think is what I'm going to try and do again from now on, because again, like I said, it really kind of de-stresses me, kind of turns off my brain, and then I'm able to sleep better. But what I find works better for that is Project Life, because I basically just put the cards and then just kind of play with embellishments. But with the layout, you still have to think of a design, and I just couldn't do it. I knew I wanted to use that card that said on a journey called life, and I think that was Dear Lizzie documentary, and that wood grain. I really love the other side of this paper, but I'm trying to get through these kits, and I'm not one anyway to hoard. If I like something, I just use it, and even though I like the back side, this time around, I had a picture that fit this side of the layout, and I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna use it, and then, I mean, how many things a month are released now? I remember when I started scrapbooking 6 months ago, 17 years ago, the releases were every 6 months. So you were biting your nails by the time the 6 months was over, waiting to see what was going to be released. And I remember if there was like a series of template, well, you got everything in the series because you knew, or pattern papers or whatever, a collection, you knew that you were going to have to wait 6 months before that you got new stuff again. Now, yes, now they have the big CHA, and that's only twice a year, and there's big releases then, but there's releases in between. So, everything that they release at the show, they kind of take their time releasing it too. So there's, you go to Simon Says Stamps, and every day or two you get new stuff that pops up. So there's not lack of any of that for sure. So I'm going to use a mixture on this layout of Dear Lizzie documentary and Amy Tangerine Finders Keepers. And like I said, it's probably not my favorite layout in the world, but the story is down, and I think I'm going to journal right on the layout, and it's not going to be too much because this is of us climbing the mountains. So there's I couldn't put it all on one layout, which is kind of good because I loved a lot of the pictures that we took. And so I'm just putting a little bit different feelings and everything on, different layouts. I'm going to use a lot of the rub-ons on this too. And I'm using those, I don't know, hunk of wood. I mean, I'm sure they could have made those slices of wood a little thinner. My goodness, you could start a bonfire with this. But anyway, I'm going to use a couple of those on here, and I'm just going to rub on one of them that says what a day, because oh my goodness, that was quite the day, because it took us a whole day. You know, between climbing up, and then we stayed on top of the mountain for a couple of hours, I think, and then it took not long, maybe 20 minutes to go down the train, and you're like, what? It just took us 4.5 hours to climb this, and we went down in 20 minutes. But it was the experience, right? It's something that I can say that I accomplished, which I have to be honest. When my husband said that he wanted to climb a mountain, I was like, yeah, not gonna happen. This chick here is not climbing any mountain. You can take the kids and you can go climb a mountain. And then when it was time to go, and this is what we decided to do. And I didn't want to take the dog, because the last time we took the dog, I was stuck at the campground the whole time, and they went and did fun stuff. We didn't want to bring the dog and keep him in a hot kennel, the whole time. And so I ended up at the campground a lot. So when I said that the dog was staying home, my son said, okay, but you're doing everything. So I was like, okay. Which at that point I kind of figured that I would be climbing the mountain, but that kind of sealed it. Like even which I already did a layout for that, but the water rafting thing, tubing, I really wasn't in the mood to do that, but my son was like, we left the dog home, you gotta come. So on the tubing I went, and I had fun. I hate getting wet. I don't like water. But I did have fun. So I'm using some of the rub-ons, and one of this says unbelievable, because I'm sure a lot of people didn't believe that I climbed the mountain. Like when I got at work and I said, this chick here climbed Mount Washington. And they were like, what? How long did it take you, like all day? No, 4.5 hours. 4 hours and 22 minutes to be exact. And they were like, what? And I mean, I'm not, that out of shape. They just know that, I don't, it's not that I don't like exercising, because I did for a while. No, I don't like exercising. That's true. I have to force myself to exercise, and I haven't, to be honestly truthful here, I haven't till it started getting warm. And now it's to get back into it. I know I have to get back into it, but I've been working a lot. I replaced some people so they could have time off, and it was my extra day. So the last couple of months there, it's been a little crazy. I only have one more day off, and I go back, and I feel like I should just off. But I think after that, I'm going to have, cross my fingers, I'm going to have close to 16 days off because of some bank time that I have. And I think I've convinced a few people to take my shifts so I can have the time off. So it's well needed. I feel pooped. But anyway, back to the layout. I thought I might use that frame. I love that frame, but it was too big in comparison with the rest. If it would have just been a little smaller, it would have worked so well with this page, but it was too big. So I'm going to end up taking another card, and cutting it down and using that. But I'm using one of those hunk of woods there. What a day is what I rubbed on it. And then I'm going to use another one, and then I'm going to use some puffy stickers. And then I took the inside of a frame that was on that same big chipboard sticker sheet, and I'm just going to cut it in like a third maybe, and then I'm going to make a little cluster up there, and I'm going to put that little bird up there, and it looks like he's sitting, I don't know. I'm going to end up putting a couple of leaves up there, so it looks like a fake tree, I guess. My own made up fake tree. And on that hunk of wood down there, I put hello there. At first I put the two leaves up there, and this was still after the night shift. When I went to bed that morning, I looked at it and I went, yeah, hate it. Don't even know if I want to finish it. So I just went to bed. I just, I'm moving stuff around and I'm going, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. I use 2 branding strips at the bottom. I kind of like that because there's no other pattern paper on this. There's that 4x6 card that I took and I put some pattern paper in behind. I think that was from a 6x6 pattern paper sheet. And what I like to do is I bring in a 6x6 pattern paper pad and I use that to kind of do the layering, kind of put in behind like that, just so that, I keep my 6x6 pattern for, either the background or getting more layouts done. The 4x6 card wasn't exactly 4x6, so I cut down my photo so that it was equal with it. And then we got a sticker book, or washi tape book, sorry, and I ripped out a couple of them, or one of them, and I ripped it up so that I could have more use out of it, because I like that we get those sticker books or washi books because you get a variety of washi tape. But I don't like that you don't get a lot of each, because I love using washi and I love using a lot of it. And but it's not going to stop me from using it. It's just that you have to be a little bit more creative with it. Now I took another this was a 3x4 card, and there I went to bed and I came back later on, probably that night. And then I took that card and I cut it down, and the word "Note It" was on that card, and I mounted it with the same card. Okay, so I just had to stop the recording. It was all like going all wacko, and I know that that's not going to render when it does that, so I had to fix it up here. And so anyway, so yeah, I went to bed and I totally didn't like the layout, so I just decided to just stop and then come back later. And then just by adding, I found by adding some of the strips that were left over from the 2 branding strips at the top, and then I punched out a whole bunch of circles from one of the 6x6 papers from the Dear Lizzie documentary pattern paper. And I took a 1-inch punch and I just punched around the circles, and I took punched out a few that was in the teal, and I'm adding those around the layout. Now I find that the card, right, it's big and it's reddish, and that's the only thing that is reddish on this layout at this point. So well, actually there's that little leaf that's at the top, but I'm going to fix that here in a minute. So that's 2 things. So the thing in the middle, then I have the little leaf at the top, and then I'm going to add another thing here. Now I don't know if you guys can even tell, but I've totally changed the way I film my videos, so hopefully it still looks the same. I just changed tripods for a bit just to see, because the other tripod I had totally took the right side of my desk, totally took over my desk, and it was really hard. And the arm would come right, because I scrap standing up. Maybe I'm going to keep it, because in my new scrap room I want to have different areas to do different things. But because I stand when I scrap, I almost had a permanent bruise on my forehead because I kept whacking my head on the arm that was coming out. And so this one here, it's not on my desk, and I hope that I'm still learning on how to move it around so that I can use it a little better, so that I still get the same kind of lighting and everything. So this is where I went to get the chipboard shape, and it says "Be Brave," And then I took an arrow from the chipboard shape also. I'm going to use that little gold heart because I wanted to add a little bit of gold in here. Don't know why, just wanted some gold. And so I'm going to put the gold arrow, the gold little heart, and then I also used one of the chipboard stars. It's in the brown, so I'm going to use that too. I'm going to add another little strip of washi tape at the top of the layout with the little bird. I'm going to put a half circle up there too. And what I did is I went and I got one of my white pens and I outlined the word noted. And I don't think you can really tell on the camera, but you can see the word way more in real life. Because what I did was I cut that card down and I mounted the word noted on the same card. So it's tone on tone, but by outlining the word, you can see it a little bit more. Now I'm just adding some lines to the page, and this pen here, like, it goes on clear and then it dries and it's white, and it's really hard to see it because especially if you're writing, you can't tell if you made an error till after you're done your page. But I still like it. I like using it. Now I'm going to use those awesome Amy Tangerine puffy, oh, there was a dot on one of my letters, and I did this page about I don't know, 5 days ago, and the dot was still wet, and I was rubbing the word mountain, and I just put white Hero Arts, no, Studio Calico white all over my letters. So yeah, it doesn't, that's the one thing about the mist, it doesn't dry on epoxy stickers or anything that's shiny. It won't dry on it. So anyway, I just had to clear that up. So I spelled mountain with that, and then I took from my stash one of my favorite little fonts from Basic Gray, and I'm just going to for some reason that morning, when the whole time I was scrapping this and I was thinking about us climbing the mountain, I couldn't help but keep thinking of that song, Go Tell It on the Mountain. I think I was even singing it in my head. So I decided that that was going to be the title of my layout, Go Tell It on the Mountain. And after that, I believe the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some splatters using the Studio Calico Hero Arts in white. And also I'm going to add some little epoxy hearts, no, enamel hearts from Amy Tangerine. And that's going to complete my layout. And so today, this might go up a little late. I just want to give you a little info what's going on. Yesterday, it took me it took me 2 days to upload a video onto YouTube. We had a storm here, so I was having internet issues. Really hard time uploading stuff to YouTube. It took, at one point it said 2,100 minutes, which I did the math, and that's 35 hours to upload. I'm like, no, cancel. Let's wait till it says a little less. But anyway, so it was ridiculous. And on top of that, there's where we work. I mean, it's 24 hours a day, so there's some sickness going around at work, including whooping cough. We have 4 people that have whooping cough up to now, so I think I'm not saying that's what I have, but I'm fighting off something. And today I slept 14 hours, so just letting you know what's going on, why I haven't been on my Facebook group and my classroom. I had no internet, plus I was fighting off something. And there I added, I believe, the enamel hearts, and now I'm going to add, I I just took my ink pad from Close to My Heart in the white, and I'm just inking the edges in white. Since I was doing a lot of stuff in white, I just wanted to ink those edges in white too. And that's going to complete my layout. Like I said, not one of my favorites, but the stories is down in my books. And I'm okay with not every layout being your favorite. And that's it. That's going to complete this layout. And have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye.